Hi and welcome back to Darvanalee Design Studio. For those that don't know, my name's Nicole Reed and today we have another video in our beginner series. It is a cute little nail file cover. So basically what happens is this goes together so quickly. You are going to be making a ton of these for gifts and for your friends. This is a great way to protect your glasses or anything else that's in your handbag or any bag that you're storing it in. As you can see, it just slides in and out. Super quick, super simple. So let's get started. So there are a few things that you're going to need today to make our little nail file sleeve. This is just to protect the things that are in your handbag or anything like that, especially if you put your glasses in there. You don't want your nail file scratching up against your sunglasses or even your reading glasses. Alright, so the things that you're going to need, you're just going to need a fat quarter, and you can get a ton out of these, out of one fat quarter. You can make it multicolored, so you can always dive into your scrap bin as well. I've dived into my inner facing scrap bin and I found a piece of foam, so I've cut my sizing out of that already. So you don't need anything else but some fusible foam. Sew-in will work, but I prefer to use fusible because it's just easier to use. And you're going to need, as I said, you're going to need a fat quarter. So once you've picked out what fabric you're going to use, you're also going to need a rotary cutter. You're going to need your pinking shears, which I seem to have misplaced. So here are the pinking shears, so you need a set of those. You're also going to need some wonder clips. You can use pins, but it's a little bit trickier. Obviously, you're going to need a nail file. I wear false nails, so I have some of these heavy duty ones, and I like to also keep one in my bag just in case a nail breaks or anything like that. You're going to need some thread snips. You're also going to need some matching thread, and of course you're going to need a working sewing machine, an iron and an ironing pad, and some quilting rulers or measuring tape, whatever you use for yourself. Alright, and if you don't use a rotary cutter, scissors will work just as fine for that. Alright, I'm going to move all this out of the way and then we're going to get stuck into making it. Okay, so the first thing that you want to do is you want to cut your fabric, and what you're going to need is 2 pieces of coordinating fabric measuring 2 1/4 on the short side by 8 inches in length. So you're going to need 2 of them. You're also going to need 1 piece of fabric that's going to get folded in half, and this measures 2 1/4 by 12 inches, and I've just pressed that in half so I know where that halfway mark is. You can always find the halfway mark and also just get your friction pen, and on the wrong side just place a line just like that. Okay, and we're going, as I said, I've pressed that in half, and that's all we need for the fabric. And then for the foam we need 1 piece that measures 2 1/4 by 8 inches, and then we need 1 piece that measures 2 1/4 by 6 inches. Alright, so I'm going to grab the iron and the ironing pad, and we're going to fuse the foam to the fabrics. Okay, we're going to get our long piece first, and we're going to get one of our pieces of our 2 1/4 by 8 inch. We're going to place that over the top, and you can see there that I don't have any foam sticking out. If you do, you need to use some sort of applique mat. If you don't have an applique mat, you can always use baking paper. So you put that over the top and then you iron it, and that way the glue from the foam won't get on the bottom of your iron. Now I'm not worried about or concerned about this sticking to the ironing pad. I've got my iron set on a warm setting, and then I'm just going to press that in place. It doesn't take long for the glue to start melting on the foam. I'm using a Matilda's Own brand. There are many brands. There's Bosal, all sorts of foams out on the market. So I'll leave some links down below where you can get them from Amazon and also other places here in Australia for you. I actually don't have any in stock in the moment. I am waiting for some to come from my supplier. So once that's fused on, we're just going to flip that over, and you can see it hasn't stuck to my ironing pad at all. As long as you've got your iron on a warm setting and you don't actually press it too hard, the heat doesn't transfer to the glue on the other side, because this is double-sided fusible. You can get single-sided, that will work just as well, and you can also get a sew-in as well. Any of the foams that are on the market will be fine. Then we're going to get our other piece. Now my fabric is non-directional because you can see my bees are going different ways, and the sunflowers, well, they're just sunflowers. So I'm just going to place that on top. Be mindful if you are working with directional fabric that both your fabrics are going in the same direction. Okay, and then I'm just going to again repeat that same thing. Just press. I don't need to iron it, I'm just pressing, I'm just getting some heat into that to make it fuse. And there we go, that's fused on there. All right, so we're going to set that aside, and then we're going to grab our next piece and we're going to open that up so the fabric is facing, the pretty side is facing down. We're going to grab our piece of foam and we're going to place that short edge on that line that we marked earlier, or the crease that you've done with your iron. And then we're going to bring that fabric across over the top, and we're going to hold that in place, and we're going to get it to come down as far as we can get it to come down, and we're going to hold that in place, and then we're going to grab our iron and do exactly the same thing, making sure that that foam is not touching the bottom of our iron. As I said, make sure that you've got an applique mat or you've got some baking paper to go across. I've actually cut mine to size, and I checked that before I got on camera. The next thing, so you can see here that one side is now fused and it's just gone just past the foam, which is fine. Then we're going to get our other side and we're going to pull that a little bit taut, and we're going to get it to come all the way down to the end of our foam. Now if it's a little bit shy, don't worry, because that will get snipped off with our pinking shears. And then I'm just going to press that into place. And there we go, it's on. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to set our iron aside and our ironing mat, put that aside. We're going to head over to our sewing machine, and on this folded edge here, we're going to top stitch 1/8 of an inch across here. It's just going to give it a little bit more of a finish. And I like to lengthen my stitch length to about a 3.5mm. Okay, my needle's in the center position, and I've got my 1/4 inch foot on, and I'm just going to use the guides on my sewing machine to get as close as I can to 1/8 of an inch. Do a little back stitch. And then just sew that across. You may need to give it a little bit of a helping hand. Okay. Grab our little thread snips, and we're just going to trim off that excess thread. There we go. Okay, so that is now stitched into place. Next, what we're going to do is we're going to get our larger piece, and we're going to place the smaller piece on top. Grab some wonder clips, and we're just going to clip that into place, making sure that your raw edges are all lining up. And now what we're going to do is we're going to head to the sewing machine, and starting here we're going to stitch all the way around, back stitching at the beginning or at the end, either way. Okay, and we're going to use a 1/4 inch seam allowance. I like to put my needle in the down position. That way when I turn the corners, it's not going to wobble and be skew or anything down. It's going to make a nice neat corner. So basically all I'm going to do is start stitching. I'm going to reverse when I get back to that point, as not to have too much bulk or knots or anything like that from the thread. I'm going to come down and I'm going to stop about a 1/4 inch away from the edge. I'm going to lift my presser foot up. I'm going to pivot, and continue to along the short end, stopping a 1/4 inch away, lifting my presser foot up, pivoting, and then going along this long edge. Now when I get to where this top bit is joining towards this back bit, I've got this bit here. It's going to have a little bit of pressure on it when we're putting our nail file in and out. I always like to just do a little bit of a back stitch at any join like that. And then I continue on. And that's just going to give me that little bit of added security. Again, I come up to the end, stop about 1/4 inch away from the end, pivot, go to that short end, again stopping a 1/4 inch away, and then down to where we started, and then I will do my back stitch now. I've joined up those 2 threads where they've met, and I'm just going to do a back stitch, take the needle out of the down position and trim off those excess threads. Okay, so you can see there that I've done a back stitch at the beginning, at the end, and there's not a lot of bulk on the back. Whereas if I had done it at the beginning and at the end, I would have had a lot of bulk there in thread and possibly some little bird's nests, and I don't like the look of that. All right, so we're almost done. So basically what we're going to do now is we're just going to grab our pinking shears and we're just going to trim and neaten up that edge. Now you don't want to snip into your stitching you've just done, so you want to take it nice and slow, and you just want to trim off, just getting close as you can to those stitches without going into them. It is a little bit tricky on this bit here because it is a little bit thick, but as you can see it's quite manageable. Make sure that you've got some nice sharp pinking shears and it will make the job a lot easier. So basically what's going to happen is this can get used and it won't fray or anything in my bag, and it just neatens up the edge as well. Perfectly serviceable like that, but it just makes it a little bit nicer. For what it is, getting chucked into the bottom of your handbag, it's perfect. And then across the bottom, now you can round these off if you want to. I just prefer them to be square. It's quicker, it's easier, and I can get them done super quick. And then all you need to do is grab your nail file, slide that in, and there you go. That's it. Our little nail file sleeve is ready to go into the bottom of our bag. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this tutorial today. As I said, super quick, super simple, and you'll be making heaps of them for your friends. So if you'd like this video today, don't forget to give us a thumbs up down below, share us across the socials, and if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and ring the little bell icon beside it, and then that way you won't miss out on any future posts. And don't forget to, if you make something off the channel, share it over on Instagram and tag Darvanalee Design Studio so I can see what you're up to. That's it from me today. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you all again next time. Bye for now.